Good evening, folks. If you don't want to have to sit through The Cure, well, you might want to fast forward about a minute and a half. While we play enough music to make sure that ScrewTube can go fuck itself. I just want to let you guys know I'm on a lot of different platforms. I'm on Minds, I'm on Gab, I'm on Parler, I'm on Rumble, I'm on Brighteon, I'm on Cocoscope, I'm on Odyssey. And I'm everywhere. It's actually a pain in the ass to upload that much content. A lot of it isn't just, well, upload it to one and then give me the address and you can upload it to the... No, you have to go through everything all over. Pain in the balls, but it's worth it. At some point, hopefully YouTube, ScrewTube, will go back to what it is, which was cat videos, bum fights, and music videos. It's fuck all useless for anything else. So, do me a favor. The comment box right up on top. I'm not even going to bother burying it at the bottom anymore. The links will always be up on top. I don't know whether or not I'm closing this channel. I threatened to close it, and people said, don't close it. Don't let them fucking drive you out. We'll see. It's not like I have a huge present here with my whole 80-some-odd fans. That reminds me, please like, share, and remind if you enjoy this shit. There we go, 2 minutes. Some really cool old pictures, though. This is from 80s Nostalgia Channel, and the name of the playlist is The Cure All Songs Played Live in 1980 Full Set List. I like The Cure. One of the few bands I don't think I've ever seen, though. I love live shows. I've seen a bunch. But that's not why we're here. Why we are here today, my friends, is because there is going to be a big march on Washington on January the 6th. You're right, you get to protest. That's the deal. I mean, at least until the Biden-Harris administration finds it to be a thorn in its side or a burr under its saddle, or however you want to look at it, and then they will do their best to make sure that shit goes away. Which is why I'm going to throw this in there. If you live in Georgia, or you have friends who live in Georgia, people who are eligible to vote as real, actual people, not like the imaginary Biden voters, but cleanest election ever. He's the most popular person in the world. He got more votes than any other president, even though he won the least amount of counties. Fucking amazing. The man is just... he's a veritable god on the planet. Anyway. If you're in Georgia, or you know people in Georgia, please tell them, regardless of how shitty the candidates are, and regardless of how shitty their policy stances are, and the likelihood that they're going to be absolutely useless pieces of shit rhinos like fucking Turtle Man and Mittens, don't let the Democrats take it. And they want to take it. Believe it. They want to have that Senate power. Deny them. So if you are a person from Georgia, do not go to Washington. Stay home and fucking vote your 2 Republicans in. It ain't going to put Trump in the White House. That ain't fucking happening. Sorry about that. That was rude. I apologize. I covered that in an earlier video. Trump's done, dude. Stick a fork in him. Short of, and this is my prediction, Xenu and the Galactic Federation coming down and saying, the election was rigged and Trump is actually your president, so says the Galactic Federation, ain't gonna fucking happen. And the odds of Xenu and the Galactic Federation coming down, 0. Throwing it out there. But the reason we're here is we're going to talk about this big march on January 6th. You have the right to protest. You have the right to peaceably assemble and protest, which is something the right does and the left does not. And this is why, no matter what happens on January 6th, they're going to ignore you. Literally short, and I'm not telling you to do this because I do not wish to be fucking sued, and I don't need the guys showing up at my house with the black suits and the sunglasses to come and talk to me. But your politicians have zero fear of you. They do whatever they want. They throw you a $600 crumb. Well, I guess it's less than a crumb because when Trump wanted to give you $1,200, Nancy Pelosi called that crumbs. So this is like half a crumb. They throw you your half a crumb and they tell you to go back to your hovel surf, burn your animal dung to keep warm during the long, dark winter. You let your betters, you let the elite take care of everything. You're not smart enough. And what's going to happen is, I don't care if you had 5 million people show up in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. That's like having 5 million butterflies show up on January 6th. You know why? Never met a butterfly with a stinger. So the scuttlebutt, the chatter going around, is Roberts in closed session, and somebody overheard him. Got into a screaming match with Alito and Thomas over the Trump-Texas thing. The Trump-Texas thing was thrown out on procedure because Texas didn't have any say in what happened in those other 4 states. They don't, and that's why it was thrown out. It was a procedural thing. They could refile if they had somebody who actually received damages from the action of the other 4 states. Texas didn't. Texas said, well, I received damages because they stole the election. Can't say they stole the election. That would be wrong. That gets you banned from YouTube. Joe Biden won fair and square. Honk honk. So now, Alex Jones gets out there and he'll show up in an MRAP again. He'll be ready to go. Oh, Alex will be all spun up. He'll have his television persona on. Remember the Force Court when he had to say, it's just a persona I put on for the audience. I'm not saying Alex isn't a patriot. I'm not saying Alex doesn't want America to go back to America. I don't fucking know Alex from a hole in the wall. But quick history lesson. After World War I ends, the federal government, our federal government, promised a bonus to the veterans when they came back. And the bonus army was a group of 43,000 demonstrators. Now, this is mid-1932, okay? So, January 28th, 1932 is what Wiki is showing me. Take Wiki for what it's worth. The bonus army was a group of 43,000 demonstrators made up of 17,000 U.S. World War I veterans together with their families and affiliated groups who gathered in Washington, D.C. in mid-1932 to demand early cash redemption of their service certificates, because the government said the longer you serve, we'll write you a bonus for it, and then didn't. 1932 is in the middle of the Great Depression. I wonder who caused that. Organizers called the demonstrators the Bonus Expeditionary Force to echo the name of World War I's American Expeditionary Forces, while the media referred to them as the Bonus Army or the Bonus Marchers. The demonstrators were led by Walter W. Walters, a former sergeant. Many of the veterans had been out of work since the beginning of the Great Depression. The World War Adjusted Compensation Act of 1924, 8 years prior, awarded them bonuses in the form of certificates that they could not redeem until 1945. Meanwhile, your family is starving because FDR was a fucking incompetent moron and a communist. Well, he wasn't a communist. He was a New World Order, one world government socialist, just like his horse-faced bitch wife, allegedly. Each certificate issued to a qualified veteran soldier bore a face value equal to the soldier's promised payment with compound interest. The principal demand of the Bonus Army was the immediate cash payment of their certificates. Now, the reason I bring this up is, you see, these fellas took actual action. See, they showed up and they marched. And then they didn't leave. So across from the White House, you know that park where Antifa was stacking frozen piss bottles and poles and all kinds of horrible weaponry, and if it's that loud, it's supposed to be fast. If you pay a lot of money for something that loud and it's not fast, you get robbed. Just so you know. Anyway, they set up across from the White House and they set up camps, literal shanty towns. And they refused to leave. So think Occupy, right? The most recent one has been Occupy, which was done by the left. Because while the feet on the ground army of the left have no idea what the fuck is going on in the world, which is why they're all socialists or communists, or my personal favorite, the most stupid people on the earth, anarchists. You want to know what happens to anarchy? The strongest guy comes in and he says, "I'm taking this." And then the villagers all get together and say, "Oh, no, you're not." And the strongest guy goes. And then his boys roll up. And now he goes, "You were saying?" And then the villagers have two choices. Roll over on your back or die. Strongest guy and his boys, they're okay with killing you. You know who is really good at this? Genghis Khan. Or maybe it was his grandpa Kublai, but I think it was Genghis. Smart fucking guy. Genghis Khan would roll up on your village and he would slaughter everyone. That's not true. First, he would go to your leader, say, "Join or die." And the leader would say, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Join my army. Let me take your men as conscription and your women as I will. I will allow your village to survive. And now you're under my protection. Or we're just going to kill everyone." The king, lord, whatever, who ran the village had to make a choice. Well, it only took a couple of times of the guy in charge saying, "Fuck you, how dare you come into my house and say that shit." Genghis Khan slaughtered everybody in the village but one person. He sent to the next town to tell them what happened to their town. Brutal and effective. Saying Genghis Khan understood something that everybody who's going to Washington, D.C. to protest Trump being removed from office, right, wrong, or indifferent, doesn't. You will command no respect. No respect if your enemy doesn't fear you. There's the one that gets kicked around all the time about Japan in World War II and about invading the American homeland because there's a gun behind every blade of grass. There should be. It's your right to have as many as you like. It's actually your right. Are you ready for this? You can own a tank. You can own artillery pieces. You could own a fighter jet if you could afford to fuel and maintain them. The NFA is illegal. There's no reason for the National Firearms Act. It's unconstitutional. Should be scrapped tomorrow. The ATF. It's an illegal body. It's unconstitutional. It should be scrapped tomorrow. Saving me, by the way, millions, if not billions of dollars every year. And they just took it in the shorts over the brace ban that they were trying to impose. Fuck you. Not that I own guns, because they kill babies and stuff. The one I had, I lost in a horrible boating accident. It was a revolutionary era smoothbore flintlock musket that fired one round every 18 minutes or whatever the fuck. But these guys are going to march on Washington. They're going to raise their fists. They're going to chant. They're going to yell and scream. And they're going to go home. At least in Oregon, they went up to the state capitol and they wanted to go in and hear the vote, which is their right, by the way. Their right, just like yours. And the police told them they couldn't. So they got a little hostile, and the police maced them, and they maced the police back, and then they took the building. And then they called in the riot squad, and I guess a couple of the guys who were the organizers of the domestic terrorist event, none of that is true, by the fucking way, are completely goat fucked now, and those guys will lose their houses just in court costs alone, which is wrong. If they win, they should turn around and sue the state for fucking damages commensurate above and beyond the shit, what the hell is it called? Not a fucking lawyer, so don't take legal advice from me. Trust me. But they should definitely sue for damages above and beyond what has happened to them, especially being slammed all over everywhere. On January 6th, they're going to go in, they're going to raise their fists, they're going to make a lot of noise. Now, I can guarantee you, the Empire will drop their fucking shock troops in there. Brown shirts will show up. They will incite violence. Patriots will be blamed for it. It'll be splashed all over the propaganda of the MSN. Nobody gives a fuck because Obama took the at one time there was an act that said you could not use the American media to do propaganda against the American people. Smith-Mund Act. Smith-Mund, M-U-N-D-T. And Obama, with his pen and his phone, mended that act. And the MSN became the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party, just like Big Tech, allegedly. Although, this would get shit-canned if I said anything bad about Joe Biden. It is what it is, folks. Do not get me wrong. I don't think it's a bad thing to go down and protest. He had over 1 million people in D.C. the last time. Fucking wonderful. 50 million people. The shitbags, the deep swamp creatures, the fucking elitist scumbags in your fucking government who you need to vote out, but won't. are just going to run roughshod over your rights, because back into the field, peasant. Grab that stick, dig those potatoes. I don't know what the fuck you think you're doing up here. There's no cake for you. We'll close this out because we're at 20 already. I never want to see this country dissolve into the type of violence you saw during the French Revolution. Look it up. But you see, your elites, idiots that they are, they love Les Miserbles, or whatever the fuck it's called. Oh, the French independence. They forget the reign of fucking terror that followed. When the peasants finally removed the heads of the royals, they removed the heads of everyone else. They know you don't know that. They know you're too stupid. Oh no, you're too dumb. I'm not. I don't want to fucking see it happen again. It's a big wheel. Goes around, comes around. Thanks for clocking in, folks. I appreciate you. I love you. Be healthy. Be happy. Don't do anything stupid. And if you're in Georgia, vote the 2 shitbag Republicans in over the fucking Democrats. Please. Catch you on the next one. Adios.